I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm welcoming Oscar nominee Suzie Davies from the
Hi.
Amazon MGM Studios release Saltburn to our Film Production Designers Meet the Experts panel. Suzie, how much interaction did you have with your writer-director Emerald Fennell before you started tackling the environment the actors were going to be inhabiting?
Yeah, quite a lot. She has a very clear visual style and a particularly enigmatic style. So it took a while to try and find her visualization of this film. And that's the bit that one of the parts of my job that I enjoy the most is just trying to work out what the storyteller wants and requires. I mean, the fact that she wrote the script as well is just so lovely for a designer, because it means all your questions, the answers are right there. So I often think that we design films in the back of the recce bus when we're traveling around, and you just talk about all sorts of things that have some sort of connection with the film. So my thought was we'd be doing that for a month, looking for this particular property, Saltburn. And we did have a few days of recceing where it was all about the question and answers. I'm very aware of the time constraints on movies that of this sort of scale. You know, the director has pulled in so many different directions that you have to really use your time wisely. So it's about asking the right questions, getting open answers. But Emerald is a force, and she knows exactly what she wants. Very quick decision making. And I think once I found the groove, off we went, and it was all bigger, bolder, louder, ruder, wherever possible. And that was just a joy. Yeah, it was great fun to do once we found that.
Suzie, when you first read the script, what immediately sprung to mind in terms of how the Saltburn house should look?
The main thing was it needed to feel a lived-in environment in every which way. Although it's set in 2006, we treated it like a period film. And anyway, this story could have happened in any period. This story of desire and want and love and hate and everything that goes on could be in any century. So it was about not only that, but also I'd felt that the script needed to feel that these characters really lived in these environments. I wanted people to be desiring of what they saw, so everything needed to look beautiful. But I wanted the beauty to slightly change, and then sometimes it would be almost sleazy, almost ugly, but almost beautiful, almost decadent. So you're sort of taken on. The maze was a very good metaphor for all of us to think, oh, we're going down this route. And it was something, we wanted the audience not only to look at the visuals, but we spoke a lot about all the other senses: smell, taste. All the food that's eaten in this film was we really researched all of that, because it's about eating the rich and eating the desire of eating. So even for instance the seafood dinner party, it was like finding the most handsome crab, finding the most ugly looking octopus so that we could frame it, and the composition. And I think working with our DOP just gave us that fantastic opportunity to try and create what looks like oil paintings at the beginning. Like, obviously there's a Caravaggio reference, but we went through the spectrum. But by the end of the movie, we wanted the feeling of that painting to be dripping under the heat of the story, getting slightly more unhinged, and everything merging, and you could smell it, and very visceral feelings. We wanted to sort of try and touch every feeling that an audience member might have.
Well, you did. There's so much going on in this movie.
There's a lot going on.
Oh my God. It must have been fun though, Susan, to be let loose on that country estate. How much freedom did you have to alter and augment the existing space?
Yeah, ridiculous amount. I filmed in just about every country house in the UK, as have probably all designers on this program. And there's very few left that haven't been filmed in. And we knew Emerald was really keen on having something that no one had seen before that was slightly different. And when we found this house, which we found very fortuitously by hook and by crook, you know, a sort of word got out and word came back, this house turned up, and I definitely had an Oliver moment driving up to the property. It's nestled in the countryside, it's languishing, it's very powerful, and the fact that it's owned by a private family, and that family have lived there since 1066, there's history there, and because it's private, and because they loved the story and they loved Emerald, they allowed us to have free reign, more or less. They lived there whilst we shot there. You know, we had our video village and unit base in one of the fields around the corner. So it was an extraordinary summer, but they let me paint their walls. They let me take down their oil paintings, change the tapestries, you know, completely change a run of rooms, build a bathroom where there wasn't, take another bathroom out, remove radiators, the lot. Like, it couldn't have been better, and that enabled us to have this composite set. So we see Oliver and Felix walking in, and it's real for real. And also it gave us so many idiosyncrasies in when you come across real locations. It's great to then respond to those, and Emerald absolutely did that. Again, the writer director is enabled, you know, she was turning on a sixpence, right, with this staircase, let's do this here, you know, it was fascinating and very satisfying to work in that environment.
So you've got the real family and the fake family living in the mansion at the same time while you're shooting this.
Yeah.
Wow. That stately mansion in the film is obviously a lead character in itself, which I imagine is kind of the ultimate creative high for a production designer. Your eye is really the lens we're viewing this complex dance through.
Yeah, it's funny because we did do quite a lot to that house, but I can remember at the beginning saying, tell everyone this was a backlot at Pinewood. And we built all of it. But yeah, no, it was amazing for a designer to have that base sort of starting point. Even all the beautiful artwork that they did have, we used some of it and then we enhanced and added our own art, and obviously furniture, that's all ours. And just characterizing that house was just a joy to do. It gave and gave and gave, and yeah, I couldn't have lucked out more than having such a wonderful location family to let us do that.
Were you able to manipulate the script at all to suit things you were doing with the property?
Yeah, absolutely. So for instance, there wasn't really anything set in the square pond, and that pond is so fantastic. So Emerald adapted the script for some sunbathing sequences there, and we built the pontoon and added the lilies, and it just became such a power. I mean, I love those sequences when we're looking at the house, because it looks like the house is leaning back sunbathing as well, with a cigarette and a gin and tonic, you know, along with Rosamund and Richard E. Grant. So those sort of things. There wasn't a maze. There were elements of formal gardens that we enhanced to create our maze, and that was really satisfying to do, because it's about collaboration with construction, obviously, but VFX, editing, and with Emerald, understanding what we can provide and what she required. And I think that worked really wonderfully. And the fact that we got some contemporary artists involved in allowing us to use their work was quite exciting as well. You know, we had some model makers make the Minotaurs in the style of Nicola Hicks, who couldn't have been more well, she to allow us to use her as inspiration was brilliant, really good.
How closely did you work with your cinematographer and lighting designer on this, Suzie? I mean, to generate that, I mean, the mood, as you said, is it's intense, it's sinister and dark and kind of frivolous at the same time.
Yeah.
And the storyline.
Yeah, well, I think that triangle of the director, DOP, and designer was very strong. And I think, again, we hit the ground pretty solidly early on. DOPs often come on a little bit later than a designer, so we'd already sort of decided this is the house and this is the palette and this is what we're doing. But when Linus turned up, he's such a collaborative DOP, and it became a really lovely banter of what about this, what about that. So for instance, the birthday sequence scene, we knew we wanted to go very red in that environment, but that's a beautifully painted wall. I obviously wasn't going to touch the walls there. But to use the slash curtains, I thought gave, again, that's the perfect antithesis of what Emerald was after, that sort of beauty and tackiness. You know, they got this gorgeous oil painted staircase with these tacky slash curtains, with a DOP who can light it so it goes, you know, it completely hums. There were those sort of moments where the stars aligned for us, and it was, yeah, very collaborative and satisfying consequently.
Well, we're going to wrap things there. Suzie Davies, good luck to you this coming awards season. Saltburn, starring Barry Cogan and Jacob Elordi, is being released in theaters in limited distribution on November 27. Or excuse me, wide on November 22. Thanks for joining us at Gold Derby today.
Pleasure.